Alright, what is up, everybody? We are back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today, we're going to be recapping, talking about Team USA. I'm going to be ranking each player individually from Team USA, rank them in an order 1 through 12. Just basically, this could be a video of me giving my thoughts about each player on Team USA and how they performed, and kind of giving an evaluation, I guess, of each player here in today's video. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn on notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. Really helps out a lot. Join the membership. If you want to learn more about the membership, there's a video on my channel explaining all of it. You can go back and watch that. Link to my Twitter, TikTok, stuff like that in the description down below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So we're going to go in order from 12 to 1. So I'm going to rank the bottom, the 12 up to 11, 10, 9, and then all the way up to 1. So let's start it now. Number 12, we're starting with Tyrese Haliburton. Unfortunately, this just has to be kind of the last guy on the list, Tyrese Haliburton, because he did not play, really. He played 3 total games. Overall, he played 26 minutes, 8 points, 2 assists, 1 steal. Yeah, just was the odd guy out, which it's just when you have all these great players, you have a 12-man roster and all that stuff, someone's going to get left out. Someone is just going to be the guy that just has to sit on the end of the bench. It just has to happen, and it just so happened to be Tyrese Haliburton, which made sense because he's one of the less experienced guys on this team. He just kind of fell into that role of being the odd guy out in terms of the Olympics, in terms of this roster. I liked what I saw from him when he played in the exhibition games before the Olympics, and also this is going strictly off the Olympic games, not the exhibition, just straight off the Olympic games. But Tyrese, yeah, he just was the odd guy out in the situation, which is not, I mean, he was still on the team. He still played a couple minutes, and he did play a couple minutes. He didn't look horrible. That's also because they were up by like 20 when he was in the game. But yeah, that's what it was. Tyrese just didn't really get a chance in this one. Understandably so, because when you have guys like Steph Curry, Devin Booker, Anthony Edwards, and all that stuff, Tyrese has just been the odd guy out. But I assume that if he does come back in 2028, when the next Olympics come, he will be a regular piece, maybe even a starting point guard on this team. But yeah, he's number 12. I don't really know what to give him as a grade. I also want to give grades overall, but I don't really know what to give him because he was just he didn't really get a chance to show himself. It's not like he was playing consistent minutes for us to even be able to grade him. And I also love how he played along with it as well, like him tweeting after being like, when you did nothing on the group project, still got an A. Like, just the fact that he can be able to kind of joke about it and be like, yeah, I was on the team, I didn't play, but I was there and I got a goal. It's just super, super funny, and I love that from Tyrese. But yeah, he's number 12 because he was just the odd guy out in the situation. At number 11, going with Jayson Tatum. This was very interesting that Jayson Tatum was not a part of the rotation. He played in only 4 of the 6 games, and when he did play 17 minutes per game, he only played 71 minutes in his games. Very, very interesting that he also became one of the guys that just got left out of the rotation. In the first game they played against Serbia, when they first got to France, he did not play in that blowout, and then he also didn't play in the other game against Serbia in the semifinal. He did play in the gold medal game. Played a couple minutes. He actually was like, I think, the 6th man off the bench, which is very, very interesting. But yeah, Tatum just also was one of those odd guys out, which is very, very interesting to me that Steve Kerr picked Jayson Tatum to be that guy not to play. I mean, coming off a finals run, Tatum is a top 10 player in the league, probably. And the way his size, the rebounding, the defense, like, I'm very surprised that he was one of the guys that was left out of the team, I'm very surprised. Now, when he did play, did he look amazing? No. I mean, I like what he did with the rebounding. He had 21 rebounds. He averaged 5 rebounds per game. He actually averaged the same amount of rebounds as points. So rebounding, he was pretty good. Defensively, he was solid. It's just the shooting wasn't really great. He shot 38% from the field. Did not make a 3-pointer in Paris, which was really tough. But in the gold medal game when he did play, he didn't look great in the gold medal game when he did play. He did have a couple missed shots, which is going to happen, but also a couple Didn't like the situations he was put in a lot of the time on the offensive end. And then defensively, he was solid still. But I'm just very surprised that he was the one that Steve Kerr decided to kind of leave out. So Tatum, I have to grade him kind of like a C or a D, I guess, for Tatum because he didn't really get to play. But when he did play, it wasn't like he was doing anything substantial. So yeah, but I mean, I don't really. There's been a lot of people talking about, how Jason Tatum feels about it, like, and a conversation maybe of will he come back in 2028 if Steve Kerr's still coaching, which is up in the air. There's been reports that Steve Kerr might, give it off to somebody else after this year. If Steve Kerr is still coaching in 2028, will Jason Tatum come to the team and will he play in the Olympics? Because after seeing what he did to him this year, where Tatum's been at his best, like in 2028, 4 years from now, is he gonna play still? And that's actually, honestly, not even a bad conversation, really, because if Steve Kerr's still coaching and Tatum, like he already has 2 gold medals, it's like, well, I mean, obviously getting the chance to represent your team on Team USA, even if you don't play, like a guy like Tyrese Haliburton, even if he didn't play, he still probably loves that experience, being that in that experience and being able to be on that stage and get a gold medal, which is one of the top things in sports, is still amazing. But with a guy of Jason Tatum's caliber, it kind of would be very. I don't know. It's like, all right, I already got 2 gold medals. Now I actually want to, be a good player and be a starter and like star for this team. So if Steve Kerr's still around in 2028, would Tatum go? I don't really know. We got to think. But yeah, very, very, very interesting stuff that Jason Tatum was one of the guys that got left out. At number 10, going with Derek White. He was the latest addition to the team after Kawhi Leonard had to sit out, which is, you still forget, like, this team could have been even better with Kawhi Leonard. But, you know, it didn't happen. But Derek White was in there. Derek White, what I did see from him, I liked a lot. He averaged 3-1-1 with a steal and a block per game in these Olympics, and he made a lot of plays throughout some games that you see why Derek White was a replacement. Yeah, he made a lot of plays. I still remember that one play against, is it Puerto Rico? I want to say Puerto Rico, where they scored and then their Puerto Rico inbound and Derek White just told the inbound and it led to an open 3-point shot. Like there's been so many moments in the first 3 games of group play, even the first knockout game against Brazil, where it's just Derek White doing Derek White things. He was added to the team because he was a guy that doesn't need the ball in his hands to contribute. He's going to contribute many other ways. He's going to, play hard defense. He's going to get steals and blocks. He's going to try to rebound. He's going to make the right pass, make the right play. When he's open, he's going to knock down shots. That's what Derek White does. And you need guys like that, especially with so much talent, with guys like LeBron, KD, Booker, Steph, Anthony Edwards, guys are like Joel Embiid. That guys are like, all right, they are gonna have the ball in their hands. They need the ball in their hands. Having guys like Derek White are just so essential. And when he did play, Derek White was good. Now the Serbia game wasn't great for a lot of people. He had that. He gave a 4-point play, and then he didn't play in the gold medal game, which kind of understandable. But Derek White, when he did step on the court, made impact. I like what I saw from him. He made so many great plays. He shot the ball pretty well besides the last like few games. And I know the 3 group play stages, I think he shot the ball pretty well from 3. And yeah, make so many great defensive plays as well. With Derek White, gold medalist. I'll give him, for what his role was, I'll give him like a B minus, a B, maybe even an A minus, just because of the role, what you expect from Derek White, and the role you want him to play. He did a pretty good job. The only thing was that the last 2 games kind of messed it up a little bit. But the first couple games, he was lights out. At number 9, we're gonna go with Bam Adebayo. I loved Bam Adebayo throughout these Olympics. Even in the exhibition games, even though we're not really grading off the exhibition games, in the exhibition games he was great, and then coming into the Olympic games he was great. He had that game against South Sudan where he had like 20 something points, I think. But he was really good. He averaged 6 points, 3 rebounds, and assists. A steal. Oh no, not a steal. But he averaged 6, 3, and 1. Overall, he had 36 points, 22 rebounds, 8 assists, 5 steals, 2 blocks. Shot 3 for 9 from 3, which is one of the more interesting things. He started taking threes. Maybe this could be something that coming to the regular season he can do, which I think would help a whole lot for him and for the Miami Heat. Bam was great. His defense, obviously, he's one of the best defenders in the NBA, one of the most versatile defenders, and you saw that when he was out there Like it was just he's just one of those guys that you couldn't really take off the court, or you didn't want to take off the court because defensively he can just impact so much, not only just in the paint but on the perimeter, and the ability to be able to switch 1 through 5 is just so big. And you're comfortable with Bam going out and having a guard, a point or a two guard. You feel comfortable with that. So Bam doing that was great. The rebounding was really nice. And then yeah, being able to stretch the floor and shoot the three a little bit, just even being a threat out there, just providing so much more space for this USA team. But yeah, I love what Bam did so far in these, or well, not so far, but I love what Bam did in these Olympics. And I would grade his performance kind of like a B plus, B plus as well, B plus. Like he did excellent things. I honestly played a lot more than I expected him to play. But after seeing how he was playing and what his skill set brings to this team, it makes a whole lot of sense. So Bam did a great job. At eight, number eight, Drew Holiday. Holiday was another one of those guys that he comes in and he just doesn't need the ball in his hands. He's going to contribute in many other ways. Overall, he averaged 7 points, a rebound, 3 assists in these Olympics, shooting 50% from three as well. He was 8 for 16 from three. Just great stuff. 2 steals and 3 blocks added in there as well. Well, two steals and 3 blocks overall. He didn't average 2 steals and 3 blocks, but he had 2 steals and 3 blocks overall. Madru was a starter for most of these games. He missed one game, the last game of group play against Puerto Rico, due to an ankle injury, and then the gold medal game he came off the bench. He didn't start in that game. But Drew Holiday just did his thing. He was inserted into the starting lineup for what Drew Holiday brings, which is defense. He's going to lock down your other team's best player, or he's going to do his best to lock down your other team's best player. And then offense is going to be connector piece. He is willing to be the guy that can sit in the corner and wait for LeBron and Steph or KD to break down an offense and wait for his shot. He's going to do that. He's going to be that guy. He's going to make the cuts that could get easy buckets. He's going to make the right passes to the cutters. Like that's what Drew Holiday does. And he did an amazing job at that when he was out there in the court. Like I felt so comfortable with Drew Holiday out there in the court. Every time he shot a three, I felt like that was going in. He had a couple like really big 3 pointers at certain points throughout some games, and then defensively he was really good. Even in the gold medal game against France, I mean, he was guarding Wemby on some possessions. Like just showing the versatility and how much Drew Holiday matters to this team. So even though he's maybe not as talented as a guy like Anthony Edwards or Devin Booker or Kevin Durant, they're like, why is he starting? Well, because Drew Holiday brings so much more to the table that this team really, really needed. So Drew Holiday, I'll give him on like an A performance. Like he did a very good job. At 7, going with Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid has been one of the more talked about players on Team USA, especially with the decision in general to go to Team USA and play for them instead of playing for France or playing for Cameroon or someone or something else was very, very interesting. And exhibition games, he did not look good. Didn't look good in exhibition games. Even had people calling for a starting spot and all that stuff. Then you get to France in the Olympics, and he starts off the first 2 games not really looking like himself either. And then he does not play against Puerto Rico, right? Oh no, was it South Sudan or Puerto Rico? No, it was against South Sudan. I'm sorry, against South Sudan, the second game. He doesn't play, and I feel like that. I said it in the video recapping that game, but I felt like that was a move by Steve Kerr to kind of wake Joel Embiid up, because you know how Joel Embiid is. Joel Embiid is a very passionate kind of that type of person that responds to pressure and all that stuff. So I feel like that Joel Embiid not playing in South Sudan was a move by Steve Kerr to tell Joel Embiid like, hey, bro, like we know you're great, like we know you're an MVP and all that stuff, but you're not playing good right now. And we got guys like Anthony Davis and Bam Adebayo behind you playing a lot better. With this team we have, we do not need you. You're just like an extra piece that we need, but we don't need you to succeed. So if you don't start playing good or coming with it, like you're gonna sit on the bench. And then he came out the next game going to Puerto Rico, hit a couple shots, and then from then on out he has some moments. In the Brazil game, he was really, really good. In the Serbia game, he was big. I know I talk a lot about LeBron, Steph, and KD, but Joel Embiid in that fourth quarter was big too. Joel Embiid had a 7 point stretch that really, really changed things. He didn't do much in the gold medal game, but after that game against South Sudan where he did not play, he kind of rose up a little bit more. He shot 54% from three, 56% from the field. He averaged 11 points, 3 rebounds, a block per game. It looked a lot better. It just was very weird, kind of to find a spot for Joel, I guess. Because when you have LeBron, Steph, KD, so many guys that need the ball in their hands, Joel also is a guy that needs the ball in their hands as well. And even though he has a huge presence in the interior and in the paint, it's I'm not saying it's tough to get him the ball, but it's tough for Joel Embiid to play the type of game he plays for the Philadelphia 76ers. And I feel like early on he was trying to do that. With the Sixers, he's a guy that give me the ball in the mid range and I'm a jab step, pump fake, and give me 7 seconds to kind of calculate what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to go up and probably try to draw a foul. In this Olympics, he can't do that. He can't just hold the ball in his hands for 5 seconds and wait for everybody to clear out and then wait and then go up and try to draw a foul. He tried to draw a foul a lot many times, and with the Olympics and stuff, the rules sets and all that, he didn't really get to the free throw line a whole lot. There's a lot of times we did try to draw fouls that in the NBA would have been fouls, absolutely, but in FIBA, nope, that's not it. So Joel had to kind of adjust his game to being, quick decision maker and just get quick buckets. And I feel like as time progressed, you saw that a lot more. He was starting to figure himself out and found his way. And Team USA was giving him the ball. They're giving him the ball and letting him work in that mid range area, and he was making shots from there. And again, in that Serbia game, he was huge as well. It wasn't just LeBron, Steph, and KD. Joel Embiid had a good stretch that really helped out a lot. So Joel, overall, probably give him like a B minus because he did pick it up late. Not the best performance from Joel, and probably might be his last time being on Team USA. They asked him about, will he come back for 2020? He said, yeah, but I might go play for the Cameroon next time, which would be very, very interesting. But yeah, now he got his gold medal, and now maybe he's gonna go switch over to other teams and see what he can do over there. At number 6, going to Anthony Davis, the other big. I was very, very impressed with Anthony Davis throughout this entire Olympic run. Even back in the exhibition games, I was saying he was probably the most consistent player on Team USA. That he came to the Olympics, and the stats and stuff probably dropped off, but the production was still there. He averaged 8 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, and a block. Shot 62% from the field. He was absolutely incredible. Just an amazing interior presence down there. Like defensively, obviously doing what he does. Him and Bam lineups together were just absolutely amazing. Like couldn't score on that lineup. But him just doing what he did defensively, the blocks, the steals, just being a presence in the interior is big. And then the rebounding. The rebounding was absolutely huge. I mean, he averaged almost 3 offensive rebounds per game. Almost 3 offensive rebounds per game. That is huge. That is huge for games like these where you're playing against the best in the world and it comes down to the wire and every possession counts. Like Anthony Davis getting all those offensive rebounds and that's big. That's big. So he's big on the rebounding aspect, the defensive aspect, and then when he can provide a little bit of offense, that's just big as well. But Anthony Davis, I was super, super impressed with AD. He was one of the best players on Team USA. And I can't wait to see if he can bring that into the regular season. I would give Anthony Davis like an A. He had, for what you expect him to do and what you wanted him to do, he did that down to a T. Being an interior presence on both ends. So Anthony Davis doing that, he was great. I loved it watching Anthony Davis. At 5, going with Anthony Edwards, the young buck. Anthony Edwards was phenomenal as well. Has so many great moments. Averaged almost 13 points per game on 58% shooting. Shot 48% from 3. He was incredible. He had some big moments. Just being a scorer off the bench. Just doing what he does best, which is scoring the ball. He had that game against Puerto Rico, obviously, where he had, I think, did he have 30 or he had 26, 28 or something like that? But he had a big game there. The game against Serbia didn't really do much. The gold medal game, he had some moments. He had that setback three over Rudy Gobert in the first quarter, and then he had that lob from Kevin Durant in the third quarter. Overall, didn't do a whole lot, but just the ability for him to go in there and be a scoring threat is big. Because I mean, obviously you have amazing scorers on this team, but having a guy like Anthony Edwards that just has an advantage over so many 99% of the time, he's gonna have the advantage over someone guarding him, and for him to be able to kind of capitalize on that, it is big. It is big. So Anthony Edwards, I love what I saw from him. He's one of the most fun players to watch on Team USA, and it's just crazy to have him. Even though you do have older guys like LeBron, Steph, and KD, you still have a young guy like Anthony Edwards, who probably is going to be the face or one of the faces of the NBA in the future. And just to be able to have him also be good and also have some big moments while having those guys there as well, just is an amazing. I don't know. It's just super interesting to watch that. having one of the young next guys up in the NBA and the older guys that are about to be on their way out, all of them can still come together and all still be at an elite level. It's just really fun to watch. At 4, going with Devin Booker. Devin Booker has been like earlier. If you go back and watch some of my videos on early Team USA and the exhibition games and stuff, I honestly was calling for Anthony Edwards to start over Devin Booker. I thought there was one game that they played, I think their second exhibition game. I can't remember who it was against, but Anthony Edwards started, Devin Booker came off the bench, and both those guys had really good games. And I was like, why doesn't Devin Booker come off the bench? I feel like Devin Booker could be a lot better in Anthony Edwards' role of coming off the bench in terms of being being a six man, but also being a ball handler that can get other people involved. And Anthony Edwards can be a scorer in that lineup. Like, I don't know. And then as time went on, and I watched more and more and more, I started to fall in love with Devin Booker being in the lineup, and I started to understand why Devin Booker was in the lineup. And the more and more I watched, the more and more I was like, man, Devin Booker is perfect for this team. And he was one of the best players on this team. I have him ranked number 4 on the team. Devin Booker was phenomenal. He averaged 11 points, 3 assists, shot 56% from 3. He was incredible, really. And we go back and see the tweet last year during the FIBA games where Kyle Kuzma, he tweeted out, he was like, man, Team USA needs a lot more guys that just come in and play a role. Not stars. They just need guys that come in, play a role, be able to do the dirty work and stuff like that. And Devin Booker quoted it and said, I'll do it. And then he came into Team USA this year and he did that. He was the guy that had to sacrifice a lot. In Phoenix, obviously, he's the number one option. He's the guy he can get you 30 whenever he needs to. He's gonna take the most shots on the team. He's gonna have the ball in his hands 95% of the time. Like, that's who Devin Booker is. But then the ability for him to come into Team USA and put all that out the window and be like, all right, they need me to be a spot up shooter, a lead defender, and a secondary, tertiary ball handler. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that to the best of my abilities. He has so many big performances. I feel like every game he had like one or two big 3-pointers that they desperately needed at certain points. And I just love the pace he played with as well. Like, he was so collected. Like, you never saw him really, frantic, or never saw him. Like, every time he had the ball in his hands, I felt comfortable because I feel like I knew what he was going to do. And I felt like I felt like he was confident in what he was going to do every time he had the ball in his hands. And that's what Devin Booker did. And just got to give a lot of respect. Like, I see a lot of people also on Twitter, on the timeline, being like, dang, man, like, I love Devin Booker. Like, Devin Booker's become one of my favorite players now because the way he came into Team USA, kind of sacrificed, and what he did was just super amazing to watch. Seeing a guy that's a superstar be able to be like, you know what? I know I'm not the guy on this team, so I'm just going to step back and I'm going to do everything else that they need me to do. And he did that perfectly to a T. So Devin Booker, ultimate respect. And yeah, he was amazing. Number 3, going with Kevin Durant. Durant missed all the exhibition games with a calf injury, came right in and looked like he didn't miss any time at all. I mean, the first game he came back, he had 21 points, shot 8 for 9 off the bench. He played really good. He started in the gold medal game. Obviously, had that moment against Serbia where him, LeBron, and Steph were absolutely amazing. He had that ISO, the mid range for the dagger, which is crazy that I feel like everybody in the world knew Kevin Durant was taking that shot and it was going in, and he took the shot and it went in. Kevin doing that, and then the gold medal game got to start and had some solid things as well. Ended up averaging almost 14 points per game, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal. Shot 54% from the field, 52% from 3. Just being Kevin Durant, just being a guy that you can't really stop. The 3-point shot was absolutely phenomenal in these games. The ability, the one dribble pull up, man, is just so amazing. Like, I was watching the gold medal game, and he hit a shot. Like, he had a one dribble pull up mid range jumper, and I just looked, and I was like, yeah, that's it. Like, he's never missing that shot. He could be from half court if he takes that one dribble pull up mid range, or that one dribble pull up jumper. Even if it's from half court, he's making that shot. Like, I feel confident it's gonna go in. So Kevin Durant, just being Kevin Durant, he also broke a lot of records this year, becoming the all-time leader in Team USA basketball history, men and women, passing Lisa Leslie, become the all-time leading rebounder in Team USA history, passing Carmelo, and now he also has the most gold medals with 4. And will he come back in 2028? I saw a report just before recording this video saying that Team USA will have him on the team in 2028, obviously, if he wants to come around. But that's 4 years from now, and he'll be almost 40. So who knows what it'll be like in 4 years in 2028. But Kevin Durant just solidified himself as one of, if not potentially the best Olympian of all time basketball-wise. So yeah, Kevin Durant, having him still do what he did at this age is just incredible. And number two, we got Steph Curry. Steph struggled a little bit to shoot in the first couple games of the Olympics and all the exhibition games. Well, not all the exhibition games. I mean, all the group play games, and then the first game against Brazil, he kind of struggled, and you could kind of tell it was wearing, not wearing on him, but you could tell definitely in I think the Puerto Rico game and the Brazil game. I want to say he kind of was like, you know what? I think in the Brazil game he only took like 3 shots. He was like, you know what? I'm not shooting the ball right now. Well, right now, let me get everybody else involved and let's get everyone else going. And then he comes out, and I kept saying, if you go back and watch the video, I kept saying, I'm not worried about Steph because I know there's a game coming. There's a Steph game coming. I can feel it in my heart. There's a game where he's going to pop off, maybe hit 6 or 7 threes, and he's going to get right back into it. And sure enough, the semifinal game against Serbia, he puts up 20 in the first half. And when no one else really could make a shot, as Team USA, he was such a vital piece in that comeback. I feel like every time Team USA needed something to go down in that game, give the ball to Steph, and Steph would make a shot and put him right back in the game. He had that 5 point stretch where he did 3 pointer, then a layup in that fourth quarter in that amazing comeback. And then in the gold medal game, he was just absolutely phenomenal as well. Well, by the way, he had 36 in that Serbia game, which is, I think, the second most behind Carmelo, who had 37 a couple years ago. And then you had the gold medal game against France, where he was absolutely phenomenal as well. He had that insane. I mean, that fourth quarter, man. I'm still thinking about it right now. Like that fourth quarter against France was just like Steph's the only guy that can do that. Like who else could be able to have a stretch like that and hit the shots that he was hitting at that rate? Like it's only Steph. Steph's the only guy that can do that. That was just like that's something not a lot of people are gonna forget for a very long time. Like in 2028, when the Olympics show up and they're showing the replay, that's gonna be one of the first things to show up. It's like, well, the last time Team USA played 2024, and they're gonna show that sequence of Steph Curry hitting those 3 pointers, especially the last one over two people to seal the game. Like they're gonna show that every time they talk about Team USA. That's gonna be one of the moments that they show forever, for even 20 years from now, in 2034 or 2032, when they're showing the Olympics and they're showing like the best moments, that moment is going to be there because that's just how insane that moment was. So Steph, even though he wasn't amazing throughout the entirety of it, but those last 2 games, he scored what 60 points in the last 2 games. It hit the biggest shots to seal the gold medal. Like that. That's legendary stuff right there. That's legendary stuff. And at number one, it's got to be LeBron James. He won the MVP of the FIBA Olympics. He was the best player on the team throughout the entirety of it at 40 years old, basically. He averaged 14, led the league, led the team in rebounding and assists with almost 7 rebounds and 8.5 assists per game. Phenomenal. And he didn't really need to go crazy on the scoring margin. Like in the exhibition games, he needed to turn into Captain America. But then when it comes to the Olympics, he was being more of a point guard. He had games with double-digit assists. He had games where he had 5 assists in the first quarter, just playmaking. But then when he really needed to step on the gas, like against Serbia, where he hit so many big shots, and then in the gold medal game as well, like he needed when he needed to, he was doing it. Even the first game they came into the Olympics against Serbia, in their first group play game, I think he had like 23 points or something like that. So yeah, LeBron, just being LeBron, one fight FIBA MVP at almost 40 years old. The way he could still dominate the game and the way he could still be one of the best players in the world, despite his age, is just phenomenal. Like he has so many phenomenal moments on both ends, offensively with dunks and crazy and ones, amazing passes, blocks defensively, like just doing it all. Just being Captain America is what LeBron did. He was phenomenal. Number one, A+ from him. Like no questions about it, man. But this overall team 2024 Team USA team, just so great to watch, honestly, was just so fun to watch. And it honestly it gets me so excited about the 2028 team. Like what the 2028 team could look like and what it's gonna be like then. Like I'm super invested in the Olympics. It's basketball right now. Like I might watch the FIBA World Cup when it comes back next. Like I don't know. I'm so like excited now for it. And that team was just like it's so beautiful to watch that team. And honestly, it's kind of bittersweet now that it's over because being able to watch LeBron, Steph, KD all do that one more time, guys like Anthony Edwards pop off, like I don't know. There's just something so special and incredible about it. But yeah, they won gold, and I can't wait to see what the next Olympics looks like. But yeah, it's gonna be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, also like that. I'd really appreciate it. It really upset a lot. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.